Hello, it's Luke, the surveyor. I was sitting here at my desk and I was just thinking about videos and stuff like that. I think a good one to do before I dive into all this craziness is to have a simple video about what what is land surveying. I see that I have that question come up time and time again, whether it's I'm out there looking for ties on the street, whether it's I'm doing a topo in someone's backyard and the neighbor sees my rod and they're asking me, "What are you doing?" That that I enjoy that. It's annoying in the moment because I'm trying to work and sometimes I'm carrying gear. I'm hot. It's hot outside, but I truthfully wanted to think about that and try to come up with a definition. And the reality is, I think like the Webster's definition or whatever, and there's some clever ones, but I want to come up with something really simple. And in simple, it's someone who measures land. I don't know another way to explain it, but we're measuring land, and how we do that can vary, as well as why there's a necessity of doing that. Why care? So how we do this measurement of land is we use tools, instruments. It could be, a tape measure. It could be a robotic total station. It could be using GNSS and GPS. It could be leveling, just if all we need is vertical. So it could be a drone, but how is just what equipment we use. We use equipment, very expensive stuff to measure land. And then I'd like to give you kind of the example of why. Let's say you owned a vacant lot and you wanted to develop it because in SoCal, that's what everyone wants to do. If you own land, you're going to try to develop it because it's too lucrative not to. So you own this vacant parcel. And what is really important that me as a server, what can I give to you as the owner or decision maker for this project? Well, there's a couple things that are really important that I can give you. For one, what do your property lines look like? What do you own? What do you own, because that can get very messy. But what does your deed mean on the ground? What does your evidence of title, the deed, mean on the ground? And that's the first thing we can do as a server. The second thing are there any encumbrances or things that are impacting what you own? Meaning, are there easements that are impacting? Do you have a SoCal Edison easement in the back of your lot that maybe that impacts your setbacks? And the other thing we can give you is we can tell you where the land is draining. Is it sloping from front to back, from back to front? Are there any cultures? Maybe there's existing power poles that are going to matter when the engineers are trying to design for the drainage or for where they're going to place these buildings. So those are the three things that us as surveyors can give you as a homeowner or someone trying to build something. And as for why it matters, why it's not just, I've seen this before. I don't like admitting it, but there are some people in our profession that seem to not value the quality, not value a boundary survey. That they think plotting a boundary record and just aligning it to two found monuments is a boundary survey. And I don't believe that is at all, because you're not running the block. You're not seeing what happens if the block is short, long. You're not playing into any of that. You're not prorating like you're supposed to be. You're just saying everything magically fit. And as we know, very rarely are you ever going to get two monuments that measure twice the same time. And sometimes I see surveyors, one guy working the block, and everything hits record. And it's like, that's not the case. So why surveying is important is that when we were a young country and we broke away from Mother England, we took a lot of their institutions with us. And they came up with, I believe it's the Torrent system, and it's a way of organizing land and keeping track of land and how, when land is granted, I'm sure a lot of the reasoning was it was for, what did the British love? Taxes. But they also came up with this idea of the Statute of Frauds, which essentially says that any purchase over $1,000 needs to have some sort of paper trail with it. And so because of that, when we broke away from England, we took these two principles with us. And that kind of set the stage. The next reason why land surveying became really important was that breaking away with England, we were broke. We had no money. And we started acquiring huge swaths of land. And our founding fathers, some of whom were surveyors, realized early on that we need a way of keeping track of this land and so that we can dispose of it and make money off of it. And so they came up with the public land surveying system, which essentially broke down most of the United States into 6 mile by 6 mile townships with 36 sections. And because of that, that kind of set the stage that people are going to be retracing this for a long time. And still to this date, we're retracing those PLSS sections. And so surveying is not going to go anywhere. There's always going to be a need for us. And I think that we need people to get involved and to do this profession. I just got licensed. I'm 32. I love this stuff. If I stick in it, which I don't think, other than health, as long as I'm healthy, I'm going to be doing this. So in 30 years, I still think I'm going to have a job. And I think because I saw it in my own path that I wanted to be a civil engineer. And I like civil engineering. Don't get me wrong. I think I probably could have done it. But when I found out about surveying and the mix of office field, the mix of the cool tech and these problems, and that it's not all just making maps. It's so much more than that. Sometimes it's reading deed. It looks different days. But because of that, I got hooked very quick. And I think had I been exposed to surveying at a younger age, I would have become a surveyor a lot sooner. But no one in this profession really chose it. It all just kind of landed on our lap. Maybe you had an uncle that was a surveyor. Maybe you got